Look what I get. Corsair just sent me this replacement brand new sealed unopened power supply, the CX750M, after they accepted an RMA on a power supply which was bought used almost 3 years ago. Not only that, I actually removed the void if removed warranty sticker. I'm going to tell you all about it and what other advanced troubleshoot I've done on this power supply, and also some tips on how to buy the best stuff for the best price ever. Coming up, roll the intro. Hey HealMyTechs and welcome, this is Ash from HealMyTech, helping you go from newbie to techie. If you're new here on this channel, we do reviews, repairs and tutorials of tech, so consider subscribing, enable the bell icon notification, and if you want, smash that like button for more videos like this one. Also, this video is not sponsored, but I have Amazon affiliate links below. If you click on them, even if you don't purchase the exact products mentioned, I will get a small kickback if you browse on Amazon and buy anything else you want. Please consider using them, and thank you for supporting the channel. Now, I'm going to refer to my screen every now and then just to follow some sort of script that I've just done, but we're still going to remain eye contact. Don't worry, I got your back. Now, to catch you up on this whole power supply issue, I did a few videos on the matter. So basically, I had a power supply, the exact CX750M, and it was causing my computer to crash and restart randomly. But initially, I thought it was a graphics card issue and it was a misdiagnosis from my part. I've done a few videos on the matter. Go check out the link above there. I'm going to put more in the description below. Now, because I had bought this power supply used 3 years ago, in fact on the 12th of March 2016, now the receipt from Amazon says used. I kind of vaguely remember maybe I bought a refurbished one. I can't remember exactly, but either way, it wasn't brand new, it wasn't even almost new, it was definitely either used or refurbished. So I didn't even think this would qualify for any sort of warranty. This is why I never bothered to contact Corsair the first time I found the problem. I was just trying to troubleshoot and fix it myself. So first I did some DC voltage tests of the 24 pin for the motherboard connector and the 8 pin for the EPS 12 volt CPU, and also for the 6+8 pin for the PCIe for the graphics card. Now, I've done a tutorial on this before, the advanced tutorial using a multimeter. You can check out the video up there and in the description below. Now, all the DC test voltage I did actually yielded the correct voltage, whether it was 3.3, 5 volt or 12 volt, within acceptable margin of error. So seemingly no problem there. Next, I decided to open the bad boy. So at first glance, physically, just by looking, there was no evidence of anything problematic with it. There was no bulged out capacitors, there was no burned components or any other damage that I could see. So I did some continuity tests on the fuse and a few cables and components here and there, but nothing really stood out. And that's where my limitation of electronics kicks in. I can't troubleshoot this any further. So I reached out to you guys on YouTube, on Reddit, and also on Twitter. So thank you for giving me some tips, but no one really was able to tell me how to exactly fix the problem. Obviously, you'd have to have the product with you physically to do some tests. One guy from the Restart Project actually got back to me. His name is Paul Lurish. Hi, Paul. And he writes this: it would be very interesting to put an oscilloscope on each of the power supply outputs in turn to see whether there was a spike or voltage drop out the moment it crashed, or whether the output had excess ripple or noise. Does it always crash after about the same length of time, or is it completely random? But in practical terms, your best bet is probably just to swap out all the electrolytics capacitor. It would then be very instructive to test them with one of those bare board ESR testers you can get ridiculously cheap from Far Eastern sellers. Now, I think he's talking about these little bad boys here, quite handy to test different types of components. So watch out for a tutorial on that soon, hopefully by Paul himself, if he agrees to come onto the channel. I've actually met Paul at a recent restart party. So Paul, if you're watching this, this is now your public invitation onto the channel. I hope you accept. And of course, I don't have an oscilloscope, nor would I know how to use it if I got my hands on one of them. So that's when I decided to get in touch with Corsair to ask for general troubleshoot advice or whatever kind of help they could provide. So I gave him a very detailed breakdown of all the tests I did and the conclusion I came. And I also wrote that as a tech YouTuber, both myself and my audience are keen to get to the bottom of this, so any help and or advice would be appreciated. Now, they replied very swiftly within a couple of days, I think. Thank you for providing a detailed description of your troubleshooting methodology, for providing proof of purchase and a picture with the part number and lot number visible. It's clearly faulty and we will replace it. Hooray! I never thought they would be providing a replacement because one, it was a used product which I bought, and two, almost 3 years ago. So I'm not even sure whether this is being done out of warranty or they're going an extra mile. I have no idea. Then I remembered that I had removed this stupid void if removed warranty sticker, and like you guys had input, it's a problem once you remove it, forget warranty, you're not going to get anything. So I thought a quick workaround, maybe get a different type of sticker or the same sticker, put it back on there, send it as if nothing happened. So I googled it and found this bad boy. I bought 10 for about £2.19 from Amazon. It looked nothing like the original sticker, which was more of a black one with the white writings on it. But I thought to myself, what's the chances of the person receiving it? Were they actually going to be repairing it or just taking a look and then sending out a replacement? I had no idea, so I thought I'd take a chance, because once they get a product with the void if removed warranty sticker still on there, would they be able to tell the difference between one and a different type of sticker? I wasn't sure, but I was willing to find out. Also, I did some research and I found out that I think it was last year in the States, the FTC sent out a few warnings to some companies saying that the void if removed sticker could be potentially illegal, which meant that the companies just put it on, but even if you did open it and tried to repair the product or brought it to someone else who was trying to repair the product, as long as you did not damage the product, then you still covered under the manufacturer's warranty and under your consumer rights protection. So I thought that makes sense and is quite good news for a lot of people, and companies got away with it so far because presumably we all think it would cost too much time, money and effort to sue them, which may not be far from the truth. Now, as far as I know, this regulation is only for the States, not here in the UK. Then again, I don't have the required literature on this. Perhaps we need to start lobbying for it here in the UK, and also for the rest of the world, do your own lobbying. So I'm quite willing to join a group. I don't have the skills to start one, so if you know of any, if you want to start one, I'm going to join you. Just let me know in the comment section below. So I decided to go through the RMA and not tell them that I had actually opened it, done some testing, and also removed the sticker and replaced it with a different sticker. Since I didn't cause any damage to the product, I thought I was still within my right for the RMA. This is questionable at this stage. I want to know what you guys think. Was I correct to do this? But now that I am disclosing this on public on this platform with recorded B-roll footage of me opening the power supply, I actually want to send them this video link, Corsair I mean, and also explain what I've done. So they might come back to me and say I've breached some sort of in-house policy and they would want the product back, which is why I'm not opening the power supply just yet. I've still got it sealed, and if they want it back, probably I should give it back. What do you guys think? I don't think they would ask for it back even if they knew that I opened it and removed and replaced the sticker. Then again, I'm not sure. Curious to find out. I'm sure you guys are with me, so I'll let you know what happens. Do you guys want me to send them the link and also an explanation and wait for the response? And now that brings me to 2 points that I want to give you as advice and tips for buying anything, really anything, anytime, ever, not just for tech stuff. Number one, never buy cheapened stuff. You know, the cheapened nonsense that sometimes we buy just because we want to save some money. Cheap is going to cost you money in the long run. Now, you may think I am being biased because I deal with the repair aspect of the whole market. You know, I'm not a proper consumer and I'm always seeing, you know, the doom and gloom. But may I remind you that I've only been doing tech repair for the past 5 years. Before that, I was a normal consumer like yourself and had no concept of tech. And still, since I've been doing tech repair, there are stuff that I can't actually repair. I am a normal consumer. I have to buy them and get them repaired by someone else or call the companies back for after sales service. And I've noticed with almost anything, when you buy the absolute bottom cheap and stuff, you pay less at the beginning, but it costs you more in terms of problems, time, money, effort. We all know devices are not created equally and they are not made to last. It's not a question of if it's going to break, it's a question of when it's going to break. So you want to give yourself the best chance possible. So my advice is to go for these products and companies which have the best track record for the best after sales service and warranty. Yeah, there's always going to be these weird reviews and every item is going to have some defective anomalies. Okay, you can't go by that, but generally you can have a feel of which is the best of the market. I also don't mean to go for extended warranty, and I also don't mean to go for the high-end products. I think personally the mid-range usually represents the best value for money in terms of best price to performance ratio for just about anything you're gonna get. Okay, keyboard warriors, I know there are exceptions. I'm not talking about the exceptions. This is about the majority of the stuff. I've bought some cheap stuff here and there, but the majority of stuff which I've bought which were cheap ended up costing me a lot more time, energy and effort in the long run. But if you do go for a slightly better product, you will pay a bit more upfront, but you will have less headache. Trust me on this one, and I know you have experienced this as well. So don't go for the cheap end stuff, don't go for the knockoff products, try to go for branded, recognized names. And again, this video is not sponsored. I can think personally of 4 companies just to start with that have actually come through for me, both professionally and personally as a consumer, and that's obviously Corsair twice, that's going to be Fractal Design twice, Samsung once, and Vax once. There's plenty more, but I'm just going to mention these 4. Again, not sponsored, and they haven't asked me to mention them or shout out, but in the future, if my channel goes a bit bigger, I know which companies and products I'm going to try to endorse or get behind or work with. Get me? And number 2, never assume that you cannot get your problem resolved by contacting either the retailer, supplier, or directly the manufacturing company if you have a problem with the product, even if you're not in warranty period anymore. I've done so in the past, and it was amazing how the response was. Believe it or not, there are still companies and brands out there who will go out of their way to give you customer satisfaction, although it's not something that's going to happen every single day. It's about you making that extra effort, get in touch with them. So make sure you always keep receipts and all the references like the part number, serial number, lot number, whatever else reference there is. You know, picture is good, and keep a record of it, because you never know, someday you might need to contact them. And perhaps because it's a very competitive market these days, there's more stuff online that you can get for cheaper and cheaper. So maybe some brands are trying to get your business, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't assume that you're doomed. I know it can be a little bit difficult in terms of you have to find all these documentation and contact them, and sometimes the whole process of returning something is a bit painful, but not for every single product. Now, I've done this a few times now. I remember the first time it was so annoying. I was just about to give up, but I kind of pursued through, and I got the reference from a motherboard, for example, and send them the details. And you know what? It pays out. Once they get these information, they probably will send you back some sort of replacement, or at least help you out. It might cost you a bit of admin fee or something like a self-stamped address envelope, but the cost is minor as compared to trying to get a brand new one on your own or a different one. And last thing, as for the void if removed warranty sticker removal thing that I've done, I am not advocating you do the same thing. This is not a legal advice. This is just to tell you what I have done, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a case-by-case basis, so it's up to you if you're going to do this or not. But I'm out here being very open and honest about it and publicly disclosing it, and I'm going to be contacting Corsair to let them know exactly what I've done, and I'm sure it'll make for a follow-up video if there's any kind of come back to me. You guys want to find this out? Stay tuned, like this video, we're going to do more of that. So if you're new here, remember to subscribe, enable the bell icon notification, and leave me a comment below. And don't forget my Amazon affiliate links, please. I need the help. So that's the end of today's video. If you're wondering what to do next, you can watch a couple of my videos which are going to appear on the end screen somewhere there. As usual, this was a pleasure. This was Ash from HealMyTech, helping you go from newbie to techie. Until next time, peace out.